My name's Dave DeBoe, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on the show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. Today, zooming in from New Hampshire, we've got an experienced real estate entrepreneur with a very techie background. Jim Froehlich is zooming in, and these days, he does a lot of syndications, he does a lot of ground-up development, and he's a very opportunistic investor, meaning that when he sees a good deal, he likes to jump on it. So, Jim, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
It's Dave. Happy to be here.
So give us a snapshot. What's Jim's real estate investing business look like? Because, man, I'm looking at all your websites. You're doing a lot. So tell us a little bit, big picture, about all the different things you do in real estate.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Right now, we're kind of just divided up into three small areas as a small business. One would be ground up development for deals that we are the sponsor for here in New England.
So ground up development of what? Houses, multifamily properties?
Single family, multifamily. So I managed a 590 home subdivision project out in Colorado, 450 unit ground up multifamily in Michigan. But lately, trying to just focus on New Hampshire. So we did a 24 lot subdivision, a land deal actually. We ended up selling the lots. We were going to do spec homes, but so it's sort of like that. I'm partners. I'm part of the GP on an industrial ground up deal as well,
Nice.
270,000 square feet. So
In New Hampshire as well?
in New Hampshire. Yeah. So
Nice.
that's, we're trying to focus. I've learned the hard way that if I'm going to be part of sponsorship on a deal, I want to be able to drive. I want to be able to touch it. I don't want to do any more remote. Which brings me to the second part of the business, which is syndication with experienced sponsors who are on the ground in different areas, wherever they are in the country. So the second part would be, a network. We have our own database of accredited investors, but we also, sometimes part of the general partnership, the GP, and syndicate funds. And so I've done about 40 million in syndication of funds over the last 5 years, I guess now.
Nice.
Not much in the last year, but before that. And so that is with partners on the ground, and that's opportunistic, and that's anywhere. And this sort of the third part is really just hanging on to my background. I have long background in systems engineering, and then I did work in the Air Force and for government and stuff like that along the lines. So with that technical background, we have the Froggy X Factor, which is really consulting work for investment firms and development firms that may need somebody to help set up their systems, whether it's getting more investors, doing things smoothly, just systems engineering. So that's sort of the three components to what we do.
Well, I love what you've done to kind of integrate all those years of past professional experience. You're not putting that to waste. You're applying that in the real estate field. And we were talking a little bit off camera, and coming from a systems and engineering background, safe to guess you're a very detail focused kind of guy. Has anybody ever accused you of that, Jim?
A little bit. My wife is often did just say the word anal retentive comes up quite a bit. Yeah. So.
I laugh, Jim, because I'm not that way, but my wife is. So we have kind of the opposite. Like, I'm a big picture kind of guy and kind of a little scattered here or there. But my God, do I appreciate the anal retentive people, because the world would go to crap without you guys. Is basically what it boils down to. Somebody needs to dot the I's and cross the T's and make sure everything lines up properly. So coming from that background, what do you find? Like, you're doing a couple of things. So first of all, you're very active, hands-on in these local New Hampshire development deals. Love that. Like you say, you want to be hands-on there. You're hands-off, but you're kind of like a co-GP on deals that are further away that you can do with, sponsors that you feel comfortable with, and you join forces and you raise capital for those deals. So how do you determine if a deal's really a good deal that you want to get behind, if it's away from home for you?
If it's away from home, it would be, so we have standard metrics. There's like the gold standards, and then there's the sort of experience and what's going on the ground. Like if like the typical things like, oh, Tesla's coming in with a new factory at this place, or somebody brings you a deal and says, "Hey, we're going to build this 300 unit here in this section of Arizona, and here's what the job market is." All the normal things that you look at from a census standpoint is like population growing, is
Yeah.
what's the thing on the ground that's driving people to that area.
Yeah, the stuff
Eh,
they show you on the brochure, right? The big
exactly, the
broad
stuff on the or the offering memorandum,
yeah,
the shiny brochure, and then um, and then just do the numbers work. So I always start with the numbers, and the CFO at the first place I worked at as a director of development said, "Hey, if the numbers don't work, nothing works. So start with that." And the gold standard, I would say, in my mind, at least from my perspective, is a 200 basis point spread from when you're getting into a project to when you're likely to exit. If it's a 3, 4, 5 year, 10-year thing, and you're going to exit. So, and I know you know what that means, but for people listening who don't know, it would be like if you're going to buy in at at an 8 cap, knowing you're going to exit at a 6 cap, or knowing that maybe likely 4 years from now you're going to exit that, and that sort of
well,
arbitrage. I
maybe
look for that.
translate it for us, they're a little bit more numerically challenged even then. So, let's say you're bringing in with your group, you're bringing in $1,000,000 for a deal. What are you looking to see out of that at the end of it?
And within 5 years, I would say would be good, right?
What's that?
Ideally, would be 2 million in terms of profit.
Yeah,
So
so
you could
100,
look at
like
it that way.
2
Would you like to
2,000,000
double?
profit.
Yeah.
You
So
put in
double
a
your
1,000,000, you
money.
get 3 out. Is that what I'm understanding?
That would be no, that would be great. I meant 1 million in profit would be good.
Okay. All
Two
right.
million would be great.
Of course. No, but I
You know,
wanna make sure I get
three
my head
x.
around, is that when
Yeah.
I hear
So I
200
think
points, that means that really you've tripled your money.
absolutely. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
would be good. And I guess the thing with Roundup, and that's mostly what I've done because the guy who sort of took a chance on me to let me make a lateral move using all my previous skills sort of taught me his methods of, and he was in a development cycle as opposed to a value add multifamily cycle, which is where he started, especially
Yeah.
during 07, 08, 09, when a lot of people were buying things at discount. But it's essentially looking at a deal or looking at an area and saying, well, can I buy things at a low enough rate here with this money? Or would it make sense to build because we have the land at a discount, some type of incentive,
Mhm.
and we can get it done and have the margin be bigger. Now, I will say my experience so far, and I've only done this full time, taking my hobby to my full time job for 5 to 6 years would be that the ground up, you need to have a much bigger margin. So I've learned like when you're looking at the shiny brochure and thinking about it, you need a much bigger margin because if there's no cash flow for 2 or 3 years, or
Yeah.
you know, so much can go wrong in development, you know, but, and typically looking for deals that are by right, you can build what you want to there, or they're already entitled and shovel ready and need cash to just get
Well,
going.
that's I haven't personally done any of that, Jim, but I've interviewed quite a few people that have, and my understanding is the big the challenge with development deals is exactly what you said. There's no cash flow. There's nothing coming in, in the time that you're getting everything organized. But the other side of the coin is that the potential for profit, like you said, can be so much greater because you are, in a sense, adding value each step along the way. So maybe you purchase the land, or say it's agricultural land right now, and you get it, you purchase it for price A. Then you go through the whole development, you go through the whole approvals and rezoning and all that kind of stuff. That brings up the value to the next level. That's value B, which you could sell the property at that point to another developer that just didn't want to go through the red tape hassles, or you hold on to it and then you do all the plans and all that kind of stuff. That takes it up to the next value. Then you put in roads and sewer and all that kind of stuff, get it, you know, a little bit beyond shovel ready, but ready to sell off those lots individually. That brings it up to another level. And the final level is putting the structures on it and selling it off like that. So there's lots of different layers. Is that what you guys have found?
Absolutely, and that's what we're doing with the local stuff too. We have like a little pre-entitlement fund, like people can get in. What I like to say with friends and family that have come to me and said, "Hey, what if I put 20,000 in something or 10,000?" I said, "Well, sort of not part of the larger syndication game, but we can have a bigger impact because if you put 20,000 with me now, say we 5 of us get together and we all want to put 20,000, just hypothetical numbers. We're putting 100,000 in something. The earliest money should get the biggest payoff, right? Because the earliest money and everything gets the biggest reward. So you could turn that 100,000 into, 500,000 quicker. Whereas the later in the game you are, the less, the more risk averse
Yeah.
the returns keep coming down to the point of like Delaware statutory trust. If you're familiar with those DSTs where people are taking, happy to get 5-6% returns because something is so solid and cash flowing. But you're absolutely right, Dave. You hit the nail on the head with it's once you're involved in a land deal, and I really enjoy these land deals. It's always for sale, right? It's like,
Yeah.
can we flip it? It's constantly for sale. We got this approved. We have this rezoned, or now we have a road in there. Or we know our 24 lot subdivision last year, we were sort of debating, oh, should we make a clearing? Do we pay for septic designs? Do we
Mhm.
want to put that in? Because sometimes, you know, instinctually, some people that are risk averse will say, well, I don't want to put another $3,500 per lot for septic design. But if the price that you can now sell the lot for is 6 or 7,000 more, then, these are the kinds of
Yeah,
things.
and like you say, maybe your initial guys stay at their initial whatever $100,000 investment, and then you're bringing on new people later on in the project who bring in additional funds, but they get a smaller chunk of the rise. They correspondingly they get less ROI the later they get in on the game, right?
Absolutely, which is, I guess, um, the whole notion of general partnership and limited partnership as well, right? The limited partners purely passive. If friends and family put together a joint venture, you can have family members be passive within a GP structure,
Yeah.
right? You can. That's
Very, very cool. So Jim, when you're working with these guys, like you're doing the syndication stuff with other people's deals, are those typically ground up development type projects as well, or what kind of projects are you guys looking at
both
further away?
both ground up, but also value add. Like I'm
Okay.
looking at one here in New Hampshire that's sort of a 3-season short term rental
Hmm.
type of play that is a mixture, right? It's a hotel. It's currently a motel, like smaller motels. I want to say it's like a $5 million deal, but taking something that's not functioning at a certain level with a plan to rehab it, but
Hmm.
there's a lot next to it, so you can build more units there. So it can be both. So but again, I have done syndication more with ground up than cash flowing at this point in my career.
Very cool. So Jim, a lot of the people that are watching this are active real estate investors themselves. Everybody's always looking to raise capital. Sounds like you've done a very, very good job with that. So what do you find works best for you for connecting with well-heeled, wealthy investors that can join your team?
I think what I've found so far is that it's tough. It's tougher than I thought. And I give my analogy will be that I went to Vegas once. Maybe I've been to Vegas twice years ago, and I was just hitting on blackjack. And my wife will be like, "Okay, I'm risky or by nature, even though I'm detail oriented. She's the one that handles all the cash. She says, no, this is our limit." But I get on the blackjack table. I'm like, I can't miss. Why am I not doing blackjack for a living, right? I sort of felt like that when I came in and started doing real estate after doing tough engineering for many years. And I was like, this is the easiest job I ever had. This is crazy. I can't believe people are making so much money.
Mhm.
Yeah, move forward now. I've had a few hard lessons on that. And the same thing with raising money, right? Like um the I tried to fund a funds recently and we put a pause on it. I thought a fund of funds, I know all these great sponsors. I'll open up this $18 million fund. We'll raise 4 million in the first 90 days. Yeah, we didn't hit 1 million in the first 9 days. I told my son, let's put this on pause because um, we need to rethink strategies, right? We put a lot of money into meta advertising that I still don't fully get because I'm not really a Facebook guy.
Yeah.
Coming around to circle, I'm weaving it together a little bit to answer your question. The What I found is organic connections with people who trust you and
Face
can
to face,
trust
right?
us face to face.
Yeah, right.
A
Yeah.
husband and wife, ideally a husband and wife. It's a team. You don't want to just get one person interested. And part of why we have conversations on the podcast, people can get to know you, feel like they get to know you a little bit better. They hear your voice, start to warm up to that idea. Cold calling haven't had great luck with it. The advertising,
Yeah. It's
it's
tough.
a mixture. It's a mixture. So I would say authentic relationships, and it's a little bit of an art. I would say you know
Yeah.
your own credibility, and then
Yeah.
success breeds more success as well. People telling other people that they've had, you know,
You start getting that word of mouth and referrals going.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
think
cool.
that's
Jim,
the key.
what are your plans for the next year or so? Where do you see things going for your businesses?
I think we are really right now. It feels like throughout 2024. Well, I'll take the blame for this in our business. I just let myself get involved in too many things, just scattered. I think in 2025 we are really trying to focus on primarily um, what I residential mixed use and some industrial opportunistic um, small to mid-sized deals. And really, one thing we're really trying to focus on, and we don't have time to go in and all here, are smaller community-based plays, like where you can take um, a smaller town or community and build more affordable housing. Your margin of profit's not going to be as big, but I think we have some pretty good plans out there to do this. With the trick is on the construction side, with either panelization of homes, modular, and things like that. So we're really looking at um, smaller projects probably in 2025, and then under 5 million and under, and then building out things and sort of building up our local development resume more within New England. I think is my primary focus in 2025.
Interesting. Very cool. Remind me when we jump off the call, I got somebody I might want to connect you with that might be a good synergy for you guys. So that's great. Jim, time flies when we're having fun. If people want to connect with you and find out more about what you're up to, where should they go?
You go to froggycompanies.com and you can connect to each one of our businesses there. Email Jim at froggyfunding.com, or check out our YouTube channel or LinkedIn as well
All
for
right.
frog.
So froggycompanies.com is probably the number one place.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Jim. Been a lot of fun. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All
Appreciate it.
right. All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you've subscribed. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on the show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.